This podcast is a proud member of the UUOP Network.
Are you ready to go the distance with Tricia's Disney pick? Or will Melinda deliver a Jurassic-sized knockout punch with her Universal choice on this episode of Theme Park Throwdown? Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 25 of Theme Park Throwdown. You're here with me, Tricia, at Tricia Travels on Facebook and Tricia Travels 85 on Instagram.
And I'm Melinda. I am at Melinda's Magical Adventures everywhere. Happy 25th episode, you guys. This is kind of a big one. That's exciting.
It's like 25? Oh, hey, our insurance goes down now because we're 25. We can rent a car.
Oh my God.
Well, I've been on a hot streak, so let's see who won episode 23's battle for best moderate resorts and hotels. Had to come to an end. You guys voted in the Who Won poll. And the winner was Universal, which it should have been. So.
Based on price alone.
Yes. I'm at a hotel in Oakville, Ontario. This is the third time I've tried to say this because my internet keeps cutting out. And let me just say, both moderates at Disney and Universal are far superior to this location. Anywho,
yeah,
let's move on to news.
You got it. And we're going to start with Universal news. Continuing our streak of HHN news, it is Scare Zone week this week, and so it seems like maybe we're going to get a Scare Zone announcement every day of this week, which is super exciting. The first Scare Zone announced on Monday was the Icon Scare Zone announcement. If you look at the first letter of every word in the name of the Scare Zone, it literally spells icon. So we have the Infernal Carnival of Nightmares. This is going to be the Jack and Oddfellow zone. And then today they announced Sideshow of Decay, which is going to be featuring Cindy, who has made appearances in past HHN. So it's nice to see some characters come back. And now since we're seeing that, and it's an anniversary year since it is HHN 35, it's got people wondering, okay, are we going to see more characters and more icons coming back for different scare zones? So are we going to see a Chance come back? Are we going to see the director come back? So we'll see what happens through the rest of the week. Hopefully we're going to get more announcements, and then we'll just be waiting on then we're just going to be waiting on 2 more IP houses and like menus. We had the announcement last week of Nightmare Fuel coming back, and the Fuel Girls, repping my Fuel Girls shirt, they are coming back. I am excited about this. Some other people are not excited about this. Sorry, not sorry. I can't wait. We did not think that was going to happen this year because the Fuel Girls had announced that they were going on another tour that was going to be at the same time as HHN. But maybe they've added to their team and they've got some more representatives. I'm excited to see them back and see what they give us this year. But we are also already starting to see the first props and set pieces pop up in Scare Zone areas in the park. So we've got a big concrete looking stage set up in the New York area. We have the lighting trusses with the speakers at the main entrance where they usually have the lit Halloween Horror Nights sign that's up there. And we have some like clown decoration structures set up in, I believe it was like the Hollywood area. So things are starting to take shape and get kind of exciting. We also have seen that the Mummy has now added an outdoor extended queue that's like a tented set of switchbacks in front of the building. And I believe this is now because the HHN Tribute store is going to be back in its original location in New York, which takes up part of the indoor queue for the Mummy. So that is a good thing. I think that it's going to be returning to that original location. Last year's location in Sahara Traders in the Mummy was awful, so I'm glad they're not doing that again. And then last thing HHN related is that they announced that Premier Pass holders are going to be able to get their free HHN ticket starting on July 24th after 12 p.m. So I know that's something that a lot of people have been waiting for, to see what dates they're going to be able to use their ticket and to be able to purchase those. Well, not purchase because it's free, but to be able to reserve those tickets. So July 21st. In other park news, we have seen a kind of steady downward trend in wait time for Hagrid's. So since July 1st, we have seen the removal, I was going to say the bye-bye, the removal of Express Pass at Hagrid's. And it does seem like it is having the wanted effect on wait times. So hopefully that continues in that downward direction. Circus McGurkus in Islands of Adventure and Seuss Landing has added 3 different types of funnel cakes to their menu, which I am excited about. I love funnel cakes, and it seems like they will be delicious and obviously very on theme for Circus McGurkus. Lost Continent right now is a world of work walls. Even the restrooms in this land have now closed. So all we have now, the only structures that remain open are Mythos, Fire Eater's Grill, the Dragon Store, like the How to Train Your Dragon store, and then health services. And that's it. Everything else is completely walled off. So another thing, and I'm very sad about this, they talked about this on the most recent Taste of Universal episode. Menu changes have occurred at Minions Cafe in Universal Studios Florida, and they have gotten rid of my beloved honeymoon soup and pimento grilled cheese. I, yes, am one of the crazy people who would go and eat soup in Florida in a theme park because it was so delicious. And it makes me super, super sad that they took this away. Honestly, I'm surprised it lasted so long because, again, just the idea for a lot of people of like sitting down in a restaurant in Florida and eating a bowl of soup is absurd. But I loved it. It was delicious, and I will eat soup any day, no matter what the temperature is. So this makes me sad. And then they also got rid of the ropa vieja, which was my second favorite dish at Minions Cafe. So now I can't have either of my favorite options, which makes me really sad because I love this restaurant. There are still some really great items. I definitely still will go to this restaurant. But that makes me a little sad. And lastly, we have a new exclusive Florida resident ticket deal, which in my opinion is great. It's unlimited 2-park access. So Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios Florida from now until December 16th for $199 plus tax. So it's basically an annual pass until December 16th for $200, which is fantastic. Especially when like a regular day ticket to the park is over $100. So again, just for Florida residents, but I think that's a really exciting addition, and hopefully some of you guys will be able to take advantage of that.
So do you think they cut items at Minions Cafe because it was a newer restaurant and they were testing stuff out? Or do you think they're going to replace what they took off?
I definitely think it's possible that they were just testing some things out. They have added new items to replace the items that they took away. They added a carbonara pasta, and then they added a burger. I mean, a burger is an easy add. And I think that makes sense for a restaurant like this, like the traditional burger. I am not upset about adding a pasta. I am a pastaholic, so I'm never going to be mad at that. But I really am going to miss that green soup. It was so good with the little tomato gummy bear. It was delicious. And the grilled cheese that they made in a waffle maker.
Yeah, that was fun.
What's going on at Disney?
Well, there's not too much to report outside of some new merch sprinkled throughout and the fact that they're planting some trees in the new Tropical Americas area of Animal Kingdom. Anyway, GO82 and Beacon Barrel, however, will now have walk-up lists available. So if you attempt to get a reservation ahead of time and are unsuccessful, they are now accepting walk-ups in the park. If this is anything like Space 220 walk-up, you're going to need to go there like first thing in the morning to try and get in if you're in the park.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. Also, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party and the Jollywood Nights tickets for everyone will be on sale on the 16th. So by the time the show airs, those tickets will be available. If you're interested in going during the holiday season and you want to hit up a party, you'll be able to get that. And then lastly, Joe Schott has been announced as the president of Walt Disney World after his predecessor is retiring. He was previously the president of Signature Experiences. And when I read that, I was like, oh, great. Disney's getting even more expensive. However, I think this could be a good thing. I don't think he's going to try to like create any more signature experiences in the park. He's had his hands in a lot of different things over the past 40 years. He actually started when he was really young as a jungle skipper. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
He's worked with the international parks on their expansions. And if you guys have ever seen video of like the Frozen area that recently
In
opened.
Paris. Oh my God,
yeah.
it's so beautiful.
So I'm hoping that because of his experience in opening new areas, and it seems to me that that's the direction that Disney is going, with Villains Land and Cars Land, especially Villains Land, because from my understanding, they've basically scrapped everything. And Josh D'Amaro was like, we want it bigger, we want it better. So
Yep.
hopefully we'll see bigger and better in terms of theming and experience, but not in cost.
Yeah. You never know what you're going to get. But I love the fact that we are going to have somebody who has firsthand experience working in the park. I think that's great. They have a whole different sightline on things and a whole different idea of the way that things should work and what is needed to keep cast members happy and things like that. So it's nice to have somebody who has experience in that aspect of it. And like you were saying, Disneyland Paris, I have seen vlogs over the past couple of weeks from Mammoth Club and Tim Tracker, who took trips over to Disneyland Paris a couple of weeks ago. I want to go to that park so bad. So bad. The new Adventureland that opened looks incredible. World of Frozen is so beautiful. I did watch Frozen for the first time, everybody. My nieces were up here from Georgia last week, and I was forced to sit and watch Frozen for the first time. I didn't hate it, okay? It's not great,
You were
but I didn't hate it.
blessed, not forced. You were blessed to watch
I
Frozen.
was blessed. But yeah, so
You're
we all watched
indoctrinated.
it together. My husband had to sit there and watch it with us too. And my 7-year-old was complaining about it, but I think he was the one that was paying attention the most out of all of them. So, anyways, that whole
Oh, yeah,
area looks
that's
so
adorable.
beautiful. And if he's the one that was kind of like leading that charge, I think he's going to do some really wonderful things at Walt Disney World. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. Well, as I mentioned, I am currently sitting in a hotel room with spotty Wi-Fi, so we'll see how this goes. But I thought I'd give a quick mini trip recap because we are theme park throwdown, and I have to throw down a park that I went to this past week. I am currently in Oakville, Ontario, about a half an hour or so drive west of Toronto, and about 45 minutes south of the city of Vaughan, where you can visit Canada's Wonderland, aka Canada's Six Flags Great America. Great to Canada. I don't know. Anyway, I am spoiled. The last theme park that I was in was Disney. The last park before that I was in was Disney, and then Universal, and
Just a
then
different one.
Disneyland, and then Disney. So I have not stepped foot into a Six Flag-esque theme park in years. I can't even tell you
Yeah.
the last time. We knew we were going to be there one day. We bought tickets kind of last minute because we were waiting to see what the weather was going to be like. They have no indoor attractions. Everything has outdoor elements. So we wanted to
Yeah.
make sure we went on a nice day, which meant higher crowds. So we opted to buy their version of Express Pass, their Fast Pass. They have two options. They have a Fast Pass and a Fast Pass Plus because everything has to have a plus. The plus
Right.
gets you 4 additional giant rides. We're talking rides that go over 90 miles an hour, rides with a 90-degree drop from the first, like lift point, things that I will never do because I'm
Bring
not
it on.
crazy.
Bring it on.
My husband and my daughter, on the other hand, are just like Melinda, and they brought it on. So I bought a regular Fast Pass for myself, which is nice that you can buy different levels for your party. And then my
Yeah.
husband and daughter had the plus. All said and told, in Canadian dollars, we spent close to $800 on tickets and passes for one day.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's expensive day, let me tell you.
That's
um,
yeah. I mean,
I use the
that's more than a Disney day.
yes. So if everyone is complaining about the expense of Disney, you shouldn't.
Mhm.
um, The Fast Pass Plus was $200, which I think is even more than typically the average price of Universal, if I recall correctly.
Some
Um,
days.
yeah. Um, it was not worth it for me specifically. I used my pass once. Only
Oh.
only select rides were included. Honestly, the lines were relatively short. I was surprised. The longest we waited was 25 minutes because the attraction we
Oh,
wanted to ride didn't have Fast Pass as an option.
of course.
The Fast Pass Plus was great for my husband and my daughter, though. There, like I said, there's 4
Good.
additional rides that they could go on. They also did a few of the other rides that, like, I was just having some like motion sickness. I tried the relief band, the electric thing. It did not work for me, but also I got hit pretty good when we were on a wooden roller coaster to where my earring like fell out. I slammed my head into
Oh.
the side and had kind of a headache. So I can't blame the band. I think I honestly may have had a mild concussion, to be real honest. I
Oh
blacked
my
out
god.
briefly. It was a rough ride. Another reason why I'm spoiled,
Yikes.
Disney and Universal rides are just built better than these carnival rides that get put up. So they just weren't enjoyable. They were painful. So I ended up not riding a whole heck of a lot. My daughter gave me grief because I wanted to go on a roller
Yeah.
coaster in Planet Snoopy, which is the kids area, and that was like my speed. So that one didn't allow fast
You
pass
gotta do what you
though.
gotta do.
But the plus worked for them. They were able to ride all 4 rides. 2 of them were down a good portion of the day, but finally did come back up towards the end of the day. And one of
Okay.
their favorite ride, which was it was a really long ride called Leviathan. I think they rode that like 5 times throughout the course of the day. And the longest they
Oh,
waited was
wow.
like 5 minutes.
Good.
So that's something to be aware of. It's very much like a Universal Express Pass where you can go whenever. You can ride whatever ride. You
Okay.
can ride rides multiple times. Unlike the Disney where you have to like schedule times and things like that. So it was nice in that regard. They had a lot of freedom. The only time that it really was a challenge was when one of the so 2 of the roller coasters they wanted to ride were open the whole day. One came
Mhm.
back on about midday, and like within 15 minutes, the fast pass line was an hour and 20 minutes. Well, the
Wow.
regular wait time was 2:40. And I was like, let's
Yeah.
just wait and see if the line goes down because like everyone flocked to that attraction as soon as it was open.
Sure.
They were able much later in the day, were able to ride it with only a 15-minute wait with their pass. And then the other attraction that had the 90-degree drop, I think that one isn't as preferred. So that was Yukon Striker, I believe. And so it was posted a 30-minute wait. They're like, we're just going to do it because it's getting close to the end of the day. And I think they waited like 20.
Okay.
So not
Not terrible.
awful, but
Yeah.
it does pose that risk that if a ride is down and then comes back up, people kind of flock to it. So if you're ever in the area and you're not really sure about those really big roller coasters, like my husband, I mean, went 90 miles an hour on some of
Yeah,
these.
that's nuts.
The sound they make, it was crazy. I will say he told me Velocicoaster is still his favorite after riding those, which shocked me
King.
considering yeah, he's like, no, the theming, he said it's a smooth ride. It's a very
Yeah.
different kind of like harness compared to most options. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. There is such a stark difference in between like amusement parks and theme parks. Amusement parks
Yeah.
are those Six Flags, Cedar Point, that kind of vibe, where then theme parks are more Disney, Universal, that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I am not a huge fan of amusement parks, especially in recent years. Everybody in Michigan grows up going to Cedar Point. It's only like 2 hours, 2.5 hours from where I live. And so that's like a rite of passage for Michiganders, is to just every summer you're going to Cedar Point. Um, I have not been in 10 years, and I'm not
Mm,
sad about it, because
yeah.
everything you see coming out of that park now, it's bad reviews, it's mismanagement. They were bought out by Six Flags 2 years ago now, I think, year and a half ago ish. And it just seems like it's going further and further downhill. And the ride experience is totally different. This park is in Ohio, outside in the elements all year. It's only open for like 3 months a year. It's open like May, June,
Mhm.
July. Well, I guess it's like 4 months: May, June, July, August. And the rest of the time, everything's outdoors. Like you said, it's out in the elements. It's experiencing these extreme temperature changes. Ohio gets down to 0 degrees in the winter, and it gets snowed on, and so it's like they have to have such strict maintenance on these rides, and they just don't, especially
Yeah.
since they've been bought out by Six Flags, and it's just not appealing in any way, shape, or form to me anymore.
Yeah.
Um, which is sad. It was so fun when
Yeah.
like we were young, when we were kids, and like my son is 7 years old and he's never been there, and I don't really have any plans to take him because he's probably going to have the same opinions that I do. And I have ruined him because he's used to going to Disney and Universal. And so he's going to get to Cedar Point and be like, what the hell is this?
I
But
will I will say, a couple I don't wanna be totally disparaging. So, thankfully, with my daughter being a little bit older and stuff, she and my husband, like, they always initially, they would feel guilty when it's like they wanted to go do something, and I'm like, "That's not a good ride for me." But now
sure.
that she's 12 and we've been doing theme parks and things like that for a while, they don't feel as guilty, like, letting me go off and do something. So, I did a couple of the
Yeah.
shows, and the shows actually were pretty, like, unique. They had kind of like a Cirque du Soleil type thing. They had it has a beautiful entrance. There's like this flower bed that has the Canadian leaf, and then there's these
Cool.
like jet things, and then further down there's like this 90-foot like Victoria Falls type thing, and there's like divers that jump off of that throughout the day.
Yeah.
Um, so they had some unique experiences in that regard. The food, pretty much everything was just quick service. So, but they had
Yeah.
a good variety. I mean, it was decent. Lines moved quickly. We were able to find seating. So I have no complaints there. But the one thing that I think they did better, honestly, than both Universal and Disney, it was we got these specialty tickets. So for $60, that's the base that we paid. You get a day ticket that you can use anytime while they're open during the season. And then it also included a beverage package. So you got a bottle of water
Oh,
and then unlimited like fountain beverages. Just like in Universal, they have freestyle places all like everywhere
yeah.
in the park. The thing I liked better though was that they gave you a disposable cup, so you didn't have to like cart around this thing that you had to clip
Oh, that's nice.
somewhere or like yeah, so
Yeah.
we liked that better. We don't need any more collectible plastic cups that like that anyway. So
Yeah.
we just got our beverages, and then when we were done with them, we threw them away, the cups away, and we moved on to the next attraction. So I
Good.
do think they did that better. The one thing we did learn, and I know I live closer to the Gurney Mills Six Flags, and I know that they've built
Mhm.
a water park since the last time I was there. And so it was hot. It's been hot here, and the water park was pretty much overrun. We were hot, we
Mm.
were tired. Basically, the only thing that didn't have a wait was the wave pool. So we just
Okay.
spent an hour in the wave pool,
Yeah.
just trying to it was a good reset though for us. But all of the slides had ridiculously long lines, and we weren't having any of that. So they don't do they it's a very like kind of suburban community that this is sort of built on the edge of, so they don't do a lot of night
Yeah.
stuff, but they have
Yeah.
select evenings throughout the summer. They'll shoot off fireworks, and we just happened to be the day we were there was one of the 6 dates. So we toughed it out till the end, and we watched the fireworks. And no offense to any
Oh.
Canadians that are listening, but Americans like to blow crap up a whole heck of a lot more because it was not happily ever after. So,
Yeah.
but it was
Well, I
still a
wonder
nice
if
way to
they
end the
have the
night.
same issue that Universal does, where there are like noise
Mm,
ordinances and stuff like that because they're
yeah.
in a residential area. If you guys don't know, that's why Universal can't have big fireworks shows like they do at Disney because they border so closely on residential areas and there are noise ordinances at night. And those fireworks would blow those ordinances out of the water. But for Epic Universe is in a more commercial area, and that's why now we have seen like Celestial Goodnight is incorporating a lot more fireworks because they don't have to abide by those different rules and laws in that area in that park. So I wonder if that's why.
Yeah. Well, one thing that is quiet and can be done at any park during any time of day is our main topic. And we are going to cover some of our top experiences that we've had meeting characters in the park. So I'm going to let Melinda
Mhm.
take it away.
Yes, ma'am. And I I know I'm fighting an uphill battle with this one because when you think of experiences with characters, you think of Disney. That is the big thing Disney is known for. We've already talked about the character dining and the non-existence of it in in Universal and how they have it in Disney. But Universal has some incredible characters and incredible team members who are really dedicated to giving you those same experiences that you can have in Disney and with Disney characters. We decided that since we have both had so many good experiences that we were going to give a couple experiences from our parks and then one experience from the other side that we've had that, you know, sticks in our minds. So we're each going to have at least a moment of being unbiased in this episode. Um,
Brave.
my my top character experience that I have ever had, it wasn't even me, it was my son. And it was with King Julian, the lemur from Madagascar. And we were at a private event when this happened. It was one of our work conventions where they rent out Universal Studios for the night. So it wasn't like there were tens of thousands of people in the park that were queuing to meet King Julian. It was more of a smaller event. It was a smaller group of people, but there were still a lot of people there and a lot of kids that the characters could interact with. And King Julian spent so much time with my son. I'm not kidding when I say he spent probably 45 minutes with my son, Leo. He was 3 at the time, I think, and he had always been very, very wary up at that until that point of characters and really didn't want anything to do with them. Didn't want to take, even if it was like me holding him for a picture, he didn't want anything to do with it. But King Julian was so great. He got down on the ground and sat with my son. They were dancing. They made up handshakes together. King Julian just took his hand and like walked him around for like 20 minutes and was introducing him to other characters and things like that. It was just the most like personalized he just got it. He just got, or he or she, whoever was, I'm going to say it in Disney terms, King Julian's friend that day. Whoever was playing that character was just so wonderful. And it was an incredible experience that I'll never forget. It absolutely made our trip. And so it was really sweet. I have so many pictures and videos from that interaction because I couldn't look away from the just absolute adorableness of what was going on right there. So, and I still like to see King Julian in the parks doing his little I like to move it dance. They have his little area over in, well, I don't know where it's going to be now because it was in the Lost Continent. They had a little area in Lost Continent where King Julian would come out sometimes in a little car and they would do like a dance party. But Lost Continent's gone. So I'm not sure where he's going to pop up from now on, but one
We
always will be
we
one of my favorites.
we met him. They had him set up across from oh, what is it? It's
Sometimes
the
he's
white
across from horror makeup.
Yes, that's where he was
Yeah.
when we saw him. Hmm.
Yeah, we've seen him there a couple times as well. Sometimes he sits in that little like outlet in by Cafe La Bamba.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah. But he's just great. He makes me smile every time. Secondly, again, this is an experience that I had personally, but my niece, she was 2 years old at the time. Her name is April, and she was obsessed, not was, is obsessed with Scooby-Doo and the Scooby Gang. Like obsessed to the level where she asked my sister, her mom, to cut bangs because she wanted to have bangs like Velma. It's adorable. Like she watches the movies constantly. She's always, imaginative playing like she's in the Scooby Gang and she just loves them. And so they had to stay at Cabana Bay, and one of the main thing they wanted to do on this trip was see Scooby and the gang. And they walked into Cabana Bay and Scooby-Doo was walking around the hotel. So it was already like first thing that they saw when they got there at check-in at the hotel. And they don't have universal characters in hotels very often. We're starting to see it more and more a little bit now, but typically, especially like years ago, it wasn't something that you saw. So the fact that they walked in and that was the first thing they saw was just so awesome. They were already texting me like, "Holy crap." But so that was great that it just started their vacation off with a bang. And then when they did get into Universal Studios Florida, where Scooby and the gang usually is, over in the Hollywood area, they've got the Mystery Machine. Sometimes you just see Scooby, sometimes it's just Scooby and Shaggy, and sometimes you can get the whole gang. And they got the whole gang several times. And just, again, they spent so much time with them, and they really like get down to the kids level and try to just make everything so exciting and so fun. Velma gave April her magnifying glass. Then it's just so sweet. Just the care that these characters put into these interactions and these experiences does not go unnoticed. I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
So that was my second favorite.
I have to say, one of the best character experiences my daughter had was with Shaggy. And the two of them were talking across from horror and makeup. There's like that
Mhm.
red awning that kind of comes out from a building facade. And he was
Yeah.
standing at her there. And I I know we had rope drop. There weren't like hardly any people around by us. I was like, I got my phone out, and like people know the universal sign for I'm taking a picture, right? Because your phone's up
Yeah.
like this. So he just starts really like playing to the camera with my daughter. And he's like, okay,
Mm.
okay, your mom's like gonna take a picture, and you know how Shaggy talks and whatever. And he's like,
Yeah.
just look like I just told you the funniest joke in the world. And so I got this picture where he's just laughing, Poe's laughing hysterically, and she's like, oh, it was really awkward. Like,
Aw, that's so
and
cute
just
though.
I have to say, like that was, I, it hits a little different. There's nothing wrong with either park, but it hits different at Universal versus Disney. And I think Universal does a better job with all ages, but also including
Yeah.
older kids and adults
Yeah.
into the antics.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, I think there's also and this is not anything that Disney can help, but you're automatically going to have a different interaction when you haven't had to wait there for an hour to meet this character. And yeah,
Yeah.
you can definitely get some cues to meet characters in Universal as well. But
Mhm.
it's not like Disney. And so
Yeah.
again, that's no fault of Disney's, but it's different. Um, I have one honorable mention for Universal
Okay.
before I move over to Disney. And this is just some like it wasn't even really an interaction because like I didn't even say anything, but I was walking out of the Hagrid's line. I was exiting Hagrid's, and so you kind of have to walk behind like the stores right there to get back to the Hagrid's lockers. And the man that plays the Hogwarts Express conductor was walking up that line because in the exit for Hagrid's is where like the team member area entrance is, like their backstage area, and there's like a door in the line that they have to go through. So I was walking out of the line. He was clearly like going to take a break or going to get off shift. So he didn't even need to be in character anymore. Like, yeah, he was still in the park and he was still like walking past guests, but you know, he didn't need to be on anymore. And I walked past him with my red hair and he very quietly under his breath to the point where I almost couldn't hear him goes, "Another Weasley." And I was like, "Oh my God." Like that is one of the he just like it was so funny. He just sat there and like shook his head, "Another Weasley," and just kept walking. Like didn't even it was so quick and witty and just perfect. Like the timing was perfect. Everything was good. And he just kept walking. Like I stopped and I turned and I was like, "What?" And, like it took me a second to like register what he said and why it was so funny. And by the time I even like wanted to say something back to him or like thank him, he was gone. And that's
Oh my
something I'll never
gosh.
forget. It was just so funny. But I absolutely loved it.
A
So,
confession, every time we see someone with red hair in my family, we look at each other and we say that exact same line to one another.
no way.
Yep, every time.
I have to get this next time I'm in Universal. Actually, what I need to do, because I don't know if it'll be there by the time we go in September, but they're selling a shirt that says "Must be a Weasley," and I need it. So I should probably call the merchandise line and just order it and have them send it to me because I need that shirt. It's awesome. But I think about that interaction all the time because it was just so perfectly timed and like he wasn't getting anything out of that. He was already done with his day probably, but it made such an impact for me.
Yeah.
So, it was awesome.
Aw.
But now I'll head over to Disney and my absolute favorite character interaction over there, bar none, is when my son met Darth Vader for the first time. And this was, what year was this? 2024. And so Darth Vader was still in the what was the area of Hollywood Studios called? Was it the launch bay? The area where
Yeah.
they had like yeah, Vader
Yeah.
and Chewbacca and you could like queue up to meet them. And we had a really large group of people. I think we had like 10 people probably that we were all standing together and queuing. We were going to go in together to see Darth Vader and they had him in like his own little room and so your group would go up and just have like a couple minute interaction with him and then you can move on. And my son was 5 at the time and was wearing that I should have brought it with me so that you guys could see it. It's a Darth Maul hat that it has like the red and black pattern that he has like on his face, but it has little horns sticking out of it. It's very distinctive. This is like his favorite hat. It has been for years. And so he had this hat on, and we walk in to see Darth Vader, and my son is like so overcome with the scale of Vader because he's huge. The guy that played Vader was absolutely massive to my little 5-year-old son. And he was just so excited. Like he's like, he takes after his mama. He is dark side. And so he was he was very excited to meet Vader in the first place. And then Vader made it a huge deal recruiting Leo and approving Leo to be on the dark side and saying like, "Oh, you've got the mall hat, so I'm going to ask you these couple questions and see if you pass the test. If you pass the test, you can be on the dark side." And again, just took the time to really see what my son really wanted and just fully give it to him and fully commit. And so I have a picture. The cool thing about that experience was that it was part of the photo pass experience, but there was just a stationary camera that would just every couple seconds take a picture. And so you kind of just have random pictures throughout it of the interaction. And we have a picture of the exact moment where Vader said, "All right, you're approved. You can be a Darth." And my son does a fist pump and he goes, "Yes." And we have a picture of that exact second. So it's my son doing the
Aw.
fist pump and everybody else with us is cracking up because it was just like the perfect moment. Everything, again, timing was just like impeccable. And it was just so awesome. And the fact that we have a picture of that exact moment is incredible. I love it. That was
Aw.
my favorite like personal story or personal interaction at Disney. But then I also have an honorable mention for Disney too. I took a trip years ago, just me and one of my friends, and I think it was our first day in Magic Kingdom or our only day in Magic Kingdom. We had entered into the park and gotten down to like the hub in front of the castle just as the parade was starting. And so like energy was super high. Everybody was really excited. And we were standing next to this little girl who was probably 4 years old, decked out in a Cinderella gown, like Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique decked out in Cinderella. And the Cinderella float comes by, and Prince Charming is walking alongside the float. And he sees this little girl, and he walks up to her, and he bows to her and grabs her hand and kisses her hand and winks at her and walks away. My friend and I, instant bawling. Instant, because it made this little girl's life that Prince Charming came up to her and gave her the attention and gave her a kiss. And it was just seeing how sweet he was with her and seeing her reaction was just too much to handle. It was so sweet. It was absolutely adorable. And it's just like he didn't even say anything to her. It's just the littlest things like that that girl, I guarantee you, judging by her reaction, will remember that for the rest of her life. And it's something I'll
Aw.
remember for the rest of my life too. And it didn't even happen to me. It, it's just everything. It's just amazing. And I don't think enough can be said about these team members and cast members and their dedication and kindness and care. They literally make magic happen. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I 100% agree with that. So,
Yeah.
and you bring a really good point that interactions can impact you even if you're not the focal point of the interaction.
Yeah.
Just like
hmm
seeing something like that, that just brightens your day as well. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll never
uh,
forget it. It was just the sweet. I mean, when I say we were bawling, we were ugly crying. It was because I think we were also like both just so excited to be there. It was both of our first times in Disney in like 10 years or something ridiculous. And so we were just so excited to like be there and be in the moment. We were so excited that we had gotten in at the perfect time to be able to see the parade. And so like we were already like right there. And then to have that happen was just like, well, now we're screwed. Now we've just
oh my
lost it.
goodness. That's adorable.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good lead in to the parks that have the best character
Oh.
interactions.
Oh. Mhm.
I'm going to talk a little bit about both parks, coast to coast, because I've had experiences on both.
Okay.
And I think I've mentioned the Chip and Dale campfire sing along at Fort Wilderness before. But this ties in the team member aspect as well, because Fort Wilderness is ginormous. And we were walking to the campfire, and one of the team members was in a golf cart, and she saw us and asked if we wanted to ride. And my daughter will talk to anybody, and was just telling her that she was sad because dad had to work and he stayed back at the cabin. And so we were up getting our s'mores kit when she walked up to us and asked if we wanted to meet Chip and Dale. And it was my first Disney trip as an adult. And so I was like,
Mm.
sure, thinking that this is just something that happens all the time. Like, you
Yeah.
know, but it was pixie dust, as they say. And so we got to spend like 20 minutes with Chip and Dale. And my daughter and I both are still avid Chip and Dale fans till this day. Like,
Those
we got
2
to
are
meet
so
them.
much fun.
They're everywhere.
They're
Outside
hilarious.
of outside of that interaction, they were at Pop Century. We stayed for a long weekend.
Mm.
They do a caravan to certain resorts in the middle of the day. And so, like, that was a really good interaction. It helped that one of my friends was the photographer in the caravan. So she had a way of getting some really
Oh,
great
that's so
pictures.
cool.
A really unique place to see them is in Tomorrowland. They're usually out early in the morning, like right at rope
Mhm.
drop even. They've got their little, like, iridescent, like, kind of space costumes on, and
Yeah.
they're just wandering with cast members, kind of their handlers, making sure that they don't get
Yeah.
overrun by guests. But that they're just the people that they have
It's fun.
as friends are very
Yeah.
good at the antics that Chip and Dale, and the way that
That's what
they
I was gonna say. I
play
love
on
the
one
way that they
another.
interact with each other. Yeah, the way that they kind of like screw with each other and like, they're supposed to be brothers that mess with each other and they so are. And it's hilarious. Like seeing some interactions with them at like Garden Grill, or I'm really gonna
Mhm.
miss them in their little dinosaur costumes in
Yeah.
Dinosaurland and Animal
Yeah.
Kingdom. That's sad to me. But like the last time I was in Hollywood Studios, they were having a dance party out in front of the Chinese theater. Just like you
Yeah.
said, they were just wandering with their handlers and they just decided they wanted to start breakdancing. One of them was spinning on the ground. Like it's so funny. Um they're just great. I just love them so much. They are not afraid to have a good time.
Yeah, and I think that's the kind of interaction that you see a little bit more at Universal. They were even,
Yeah.
like, engaging me. Like, when we were, with them, they were pretending to eat nuts, and they would hand me a nut that was, like, invisible, and then
Yeah.
my daughter at the time was, like, 4, so she's like, "Oh, so in this." I'm like, "What the hell are they doing?" Like, "Okay," and then I picked up on what was happening. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh." You want me to eat the nut? And they're like, duh, like, hello. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was funny. Just a couple of other quick ones. You'll have to keep an eye on our socials because I am going to share these pictures. I have the best facial expression the first time I met Chewbacca in Launch Bay. And
Yeah.
also, Baymax used to meet in Disney World, and I'm pretty sure I was squeezing that character so hard I nearly popped him. So I have a couple of really funny pictures of myself with characters, and
Yeah, we'll
I
have to do a big
appreciate.
dump of just like all of our favorites.
Yes, I have to appreciate the fact that cast members are so patient, which leads me
Yes.
over to Disneyland. Their experiences are a little more like Universal and Disneyland, where the characters are generally more walk around characters versus like
Yeah.
they're in certain spots. So I went to Disneyland right, literally February before the world shut down.
Mm.
So 2020. I had done my research because I'd never been to Disneyland before to that point. This was my daughter and I. And a lot of people will bring like gifts. It's not required. And so, like, I was looking to see what are the most common character interactions in like Alice and the Mad Hatter. So I found this white rabbit tea. Like, you put loose tea in it and then you put the two halves together.
Aw, yeah.
So I got that. I got like a giant paintbrush for Rapunzel, a boat whistle for Donald.
Oh.
So just like certain things we had for certain characters, and like giving that to them built a whole different experience. I have a picture where
Yeah.
Alice is like holding the white rabbit like up like this, and her face is. I caught the picture so well when I was taking it.
Yeah.
And there's some really great pictures I have of my daughter. Like Galaxy's Edge had just opened, and it was like we were doing the rope drop morning, Rise of Resistance, getting your standby queue number. So
Yeah.
she was dressed as Leia, I was dressed as Rey, and my mom was dressed as General Organa from the most recent trilogy that was released. So we were like,
Yeah.
kind of different characters or whatever, but all from Star Wars. And so I'm all tan, and my daughter, whatever. And so she poses with Cruella, and Cruella is like all about fashion. And
Oh.
my mom was like, "Do you want to be in the picture?" And Cruella's like, "No, darling, I don't. She's too monochrome for me," because I was all tan, and like she was just so great. And then she like my daughter would pose with her, and then I'd go to take the picture, and then when I'd snap the picture, Cruella would be like, just posed, and then like would make like a scowl right as every time
Yeah.
she knew exactly
Yeah.
when to change her facial expressions. Now my daughter was like 7 years old at that point,
Mhm.
so she's still shorter. She had no idea what was happening like behind her, and I was
Yeah.
laughing. And she's like, "Why are you laughing?" It was
Uh-huh.
it was just, again, that was like an instance where the whole, like, didn't matter your age, like the whole experience, the entire family, we were all thoroughly enjoying that. But I have to say, the funniest interaction I had out there was when, so Ahsoka
Yep.
Tano is my favorite character. And they only have her in Disneyland. So in the app, it
Yeah.
lists the times that they should be available in the park somewhere. And so we went over there, and I was hunting for her. I didn't know where she was going to come out. She just kind of meanders. And I see her from a distance, and I yell, "Snips!" like really loud. And she turns, and her eyes are really big. And I'm like, "Oh my God, she's going to think that I'm some like insane
I'm some
person."
psycho.
Like, "Ah!" So I like walk up to her, and I'm really sorry if I startled you. It's just that I heard that you were on Batu, and I traveled a great distance from a different coast." So she like
Aw.
understood that I was coming from the world of, Florida, and I traveled across
Yeah.
the country, which is something we don't do very often. But I
Yeah.
still wanted to like play into the Star Wars thing. And that's something I enjoy doing, is like treating these people like they are the character. They actually
Oh,
enjoy interacting
absolutely.
with guests when you
Yeah.
also like interact with them in that way.
Yeah.
So she chatted with us for a while, and she's like, "It couldn't have been just me that brought you to this end of the galaxy or whatever." So we like no one
And you were
else
like, "Oh, no,
was
it was just you."
around. I was like,
Yeah.
"Well, you were like a driving factor," so, and whatever. So it was just really funny. Like we had a really
Yeah.
great interaction. If we're speaking of, it's a lot of mine are Star Wars because I'm just obsessed with that. But
Sure.
I will also at some point share a picture of myself with the Mandalorian.
Mm.
My husband took the picture, and it's a dead giveaway that I am quite enamored with him. So
Yeah.
I love a man in uniform. What can I say?
Right, right.
um, so I kind of cheated because I did like both coasts and multiple characters in both coasts, but I
That's
do
not
want
cheating,
to.
like, it's nice to hear that you have these good experiences everywhere.
Yeah, I think that's consistency is something that is really important
Yeah.
in the theme
Yeah.
parks. So, but I do also want to share one of my probably all-time favorite character interactions. So we were in the wand store in Epic, and it
Mhm.
was, how do you say her name?
Cosme
Cosme something something.
Akajor.
Thank you. I took
Yeah.
German, so that's no help to me here.
Yeah.
So my daughter's in this store. I mean, we were in there probably 45 minutes. I'm not kidding you.
Mm.
Like those wands, those interactive wands are not cheap. We told her we would get
Yeah.
her one as a souvenir for the experience of being in Epcot. And
Epcot.
first, not Epcot, in Epic, sorry. Slip of the Disney tongue. In Epic. And she's looking at everything. And at first, we actually had
Oh
a
my
team
God.
member walk over, and the team member, like, she was kind of like, "Oh, what are you interested in?" And was kind of like helping us find the different ones. And she talked a little bit about she had worked both at Disney and Universal, and she said she just loves the interaction that cast members can have with guests. And then she had walked off to like help someone else, but like she was very pleasant, very patient with my daughter because my daughter was like hemming and hawing. I've got like four different wand boxes that I'm holding. She's got two in her hand, and she's like, ah,
Yeah.
ah. And then all of a sudden we hear this like French accent from over our shoulder. We kind of are both like deep and in focused on this, and like we both are like, huh. And it's this wand maker, and she sits there and she starts telling us about the different components of each one and what that means, and was asking about my daughter and like the things that she values and like what my daughter thinks are her strengths, and had this like 15-minute conversation with my daughter in the middle of this store. And again, like you, I'm just like, they're right. They're right. You know?
Yeah,
And
because
it's
it
just,
is a whole different feeling too when you see your kids feeling these emotions
yes.
and you know that this is creating such a good memory for them and such a good experience for them. It's like a whole different
And
level.
I mean, and this was just last year where some of the illusion has worn off with my daughter over the years. And she's preteen, so they can have
Yeah.
very unpredictable mood swings.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
she caught her on a good day. And
Yeah.
it reminded me of when my daughter was 4 and we were in the Frozen sing along, was Frozen Ever After, whatever it is. And when it started snowing, and she's like, "Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
the real Elsa. That's not just somebody pretending to be Elsa." And at
Yeah.
4, she had that moment, like in that store, picking out a wand. It honest to God felt like magic is real. This woman made
Yeah.
these wands. Like, it was just so immersive. And I am so thankful that
Yeah.
that experience exists for people. I know we've talked in the past about Treatmosphere and how some of it is going away in like Disney, but I think that again, it's a theme park versus an amusement park. These characters bring a life to your family memories that you
Yeah.
will have and treasure forever. And it's not something
Yeah.
tangible except for those pictures that you've taken, but like, to this day, I mean, it's been over a year, my daughter still brings that up from time to time. And it's just
Yeah.
like, and like some of the other memories from years ago, she still remembers. And that it's just,
Right.
ah, and this is why I'm
I
obsessed and
know.
have to keep going back.
Absolutely. And having to narrow down the experiences to just these few for this episode like is so hard. I was sitting here over the past couple days trying to decide which ones I was going to talk about, and like then another memory would pop up. Just as we've been sitting here recording, I've had like two more pop up that I was like, "Oh, I should have talked about that one." And it's it's just amazing. There's just so much care and so much time and effort that is put into creating that magic, and I'm so thankful for it. I'm so thankful that we have had the opportunity to experience that with our families and give our families that, because a lot of people, aren't
Mm.
they don't have that opportunity, and it's something that I wish everybody could experience because it really is it's life-changing. It's amazing. It's so much more
Don't
than
cry.
just going,
Don't
and I
cry.
know, it's so much more than just going and riding a couple rides. Wow, all right. Let's get all emotional and deep, why don't we? Anyways, so let us know some of your awesome character interactions. Who are your favorites? Who are characters that you've seen time and time again? I'm super excited. I have not gotten to see Igor in person yet in Dark Universe in Epic. And I am really hoping that the 2 days that I spend in Epic in September, I am able to see him because I absolutely love everything that I've seen of him. I think he's hilarious. And again, that's one of the interactions where he seems like he spends a lot of time with people and he's just so quick-witted and so funny. I'm really excited about that. I got a shirt that says Delightful Freak. Like he says in the pre-show of Monsters Unchained, he called the audience, "You delightful freaks." And so I'm going to wear that tank top one of the days that I go to Epic, and hopefully it'll catch his attention. But let us know some of the experiences that you've had and your favorite characters to meet, and share some of your photos with us too. If you've had some great pictures of some interactions that you've had, let us see them, because we're going to share a ton of ours with you guys. And so keep an eye out on socials for those pictures. And don't forget to vote in our polls every week. We'll have a Who Won poll on Facebook and on Instagram, and let us know what you think. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's battle. Now it's time to let us know what you think. Vote in our Who Won weekly poll on Instagram and Facebook. You can find us at Theme Park Throwdown everywhere. You can also watch video recordings of all of our episodes on our YouTube channel. Just search Theme Park Throwdown. If you're planning your next vacation, we're here to help. Go to portkeyvacations.com and fill out a quote request form, and be sure to request either Melinda or Tricia to be your advisor. Finally, make sure you check out our family of podcasts on the UUOP network. The unofficial Universal Orlando podcast, the Taste of Universal podcast, the unofficial Universal Great Britain podcast, the Portkey Passport, a Disney podcast for adults, the Theme Park Duo for your West Coast parks, Rush of Fear, a Halloween Horror Nights podcast, and Big Dumb Stuff for all your pop culture comedy. You can also check out our network partner, The Fudge Factor, on YouTube for all their park vlogs. That's it for this Throwdown, guys. We'll see you next week in the ring.